beautiful humans. It's Lola Pal with Forgiveness Friday, week 3. Today we're going to be talking about some of the lies around forgiveness and how they can hold us back. We're also going to be doing a brief meditation to help integrate the lessons that we're going to talk about. When we have beliefs around something that are untrue, lies, it limits our capacity to love ourselves and to love others. And when we have lies around forgiveness, it can keep us in a really dark space. So today we're not going to talk about all the lies around forgiveness, but just a few, some of the ones that I see most common within the people that I work with. The first one I want to talk about is that the lie that the person has to be present in your life to forgive them. This is 100% not true. Especially if the relationship, the dynamic between you and that person was toxic. They don't need to be present or even a part of your life for you to practice forgiveness. The act of forgiving is an act of self-love. And an act of self-love does not involve anyone but you. A lot of times we can want to move forward in forgiving someone that was unhealthy for us to have in our life. And if we hold on to that limiting belief, that lie, that they need to be present for us to forgive, we can get caught up in that swirly mess of darkness. Because what harmed us, what brought us that pain, that hurt, has a darkness around it, a very heaviness. And when we stay stuck in a lie of forgiving, we're stuck in that darkness, in that pain, in that energy place of that heaviness, of that hurt. The second lie is that you have to communicate with them to truly forgive them. Again, it's not true. You do not need to say a damn word to them to forgive them. Because it goes back to that forgiveness is an act of self-love. You don't need their acceptance of your forgiving to move forward. You don't need them to say thank you or anything to you. Because forgiving them isn't going to set anyone free but you. I want you to remember that forgiving is a choice that you make. No one else can say, you need to forgive me, you need to forgive them. No. Forgiving is all about you and your heart and your soul, and feeling love and feeling free from that heavy darkness of the pain. The third lie about forgiveness that I see so often is that you need to understand the actions or the motivation or the reason why anything occurred that you want to forgive someone for. The truth is, you may never understand why someone has done what they did. You may never understand what their motive was. And waiting around to understand them is going to keep you in chains of limiting shit feelings That's basically what it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You can spend the rest of your life trying to understand why something happened or someone did something. And they've gone on living happily and free while you're in a place of pain. And that's not loving to you. You deserve to shed the pain, to release the darkness, and to forgive them. So that way you can move forward in your life and you can live a life that feels good here. So that way the hurt that occurred does not keep popping up here and there. Maybe the hurt doesn't happen all the time, again and again. Sometimes it can come daily, weekly, monthly. Maybe it just pops in every year. But if you're holding on to any of these lies that's limiting you from forgiving someone, it's keeping you in bonds and chains of a heavy darkness. So, let's recap. They do not need to be present. Nope. They do not need to be present. Number 2, you do not need to communicate with them. And number 3, you don't need to understand why they did what they did. There are a lot of other lies around forgiveness, but these are the 3 that I see the most often. And you deserve to be free. Let's wrap this up with a little meditation, a little breathing work to calm you down and bring you to center, to a loving place, and to allow your being to absorb the lessons that you just learned. That you don't need to understand why somebody did what they did. They do not need to be a part of your life for you to forgive them. And you don't have to communicate at all with them. Okay? So, get comfortable. Close your eyes. Look up to the space between your brows. Right here. And begin to breathe. Breathe naturally. Feel the natural rhythm of your breath. Exhale completely. Allow all the air out of your lungs. And as you breathe in the energy of forgiveness. And on the exhale, release any of the tension that you currently are feeling in your body. Allow the tension to release. Imagine a soft pink light right around your heart. And as you breathe, this soft pink light gets brighter and bigger. And as it grows, you begin to feel relaxed, calm, loved. You can take this pink light and make it as big as your imagination will let you. On each exhale, this pink light expands further and further, deepening your ability to forgive, expanding your heart space, in this place of openness to forgive and a willingness to love, you begin to feel grounded, centered, and whole within yourself. Take a deep breath in and release. Breathe in and release. As you go about your day, allow your mind, heart, and soul to receive the lessons that you have learned today about forgiveness. To forgive someone is an act of self-love. To forgive someone only requires you. You do not need to communicate with them. You do not need to understand them. And they do not need to be a part of your life. You are worthy and capable of forgiving. When you are ready, open your eyes and come back to the space that you are in. Have a lovely day and allow these lessons to integrate within. You are capable of forgiving. Until next week, I love you, and I'm so thankful for you to take this time. Bye.